Welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner, Classic Lesson in Classics. This is episode number 1896 and Doubleshot number 1790. With this one, four more to go before we reach episode 1900. Okay, we have two series that are kind of basically Avengers based in a way. First up, we have the very first of two trades to collect the short-lived U.S. Avengers. I say short-lived. Well, I'm reviewing the next trade in the next comic corner, but this series only lasted for 12 issues. Do not know the exact reason why this series got canceled 12 issues, but it did. I'll discuss more about that in the next video. Now, simply put, basically, this is like right after the events of the previous series, New Avengers. Yes, this is simply put the relaunch of New Avengers from Al Ewing. Yeah, at the end of that book, he sold AIM to the United States, and now AIM does not stand for Avengers ID Mechanics, and now stands for American Intelligence, stands for American Intelligence Mechanics, basically tell this book. So, they had one new member to the team. Now, basically, this is your new lineup for this U.S. Avengers team. You have Sunspot, Cannonball isn't here, but we'll get to more to him. We also have Daniel Cage. He's only in just a story arc. We have a Red Hulk. This actually is not General Ross. Yeah, this is during a period of time where he does not have the power anymore. Though apparently in the most recent for Captain America before the current one started, he apparently got his power back despite being the power during Gary Duggan's run. This actually is General Maverick from the previous book, New Avengers. We have Squirrel Girl. We have Pod. That's this one right here. We have Tony Ho, daughter of Janssen Ho, the guy who helped create Iron Man's armor. And that's it. She's a new Iron Patriot now. Yeah, that's pretty much her new code name. She is the third ever Iron Patriot. The first one being Norman Osborn. The second being James Rhodes, which in my opinion, and of course, a lot of people say this is true, there was no reason why he needed to be Iron Patriot. War Machine was fine. So, well, the first half of this, we have basically Daniel Cage being here. Basically, she's here because the Gold Skull is here. Those of you curious, who the heck is the Gold Skull? He was actually one of the villains from the Ultra Unlimited one-shots. Yeah, so this first story arc is Al Ewing following up with that book. Now, as far as I can tell, he's only done this twice, where he's basically followed something previously he wrote. Donny Cates has done this a lot in his books. He tends to follow up in other books. The only other writer I can think of who's done this is Rick Remender. He's the only one I can think of who's done this. So, they deal with him, and then, of course, we have a lead-in into Secret Empire. Yes, seriously. There's also some spy stuff here that was really cool. And just a really fun book overall. I think the whole Secret Empire thing is kind of dumb. I'll discuss more about that in the next comic corner. But for the opening trade for the series, it's really good. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly why they decided to relaunch from New Avengers to U.S. Avengers. I don't know what the reason is. If I could chance me Al Ewing, I will ask him that question. Now, what is next, you might ask? Why, a book by Greg Pak. Yes, we have Atlantis Attacks. Now, despite the fact this says King in Black Atlantis Attacks, this book has nothing to do with King in Black. And I do mean nothing. You want to know why? Because this book basically was published before King in Black did. The only reason why they made it part of the whole imprint of graphic novels, here was the reason. Because the final issue was launched at the same time King in Black started. Now, there's kind of a reason for that. Let me explain this about the publication for this series. It is by far one of the most baffling publication periods from Marvel I have ever seen. Now, the first was released in January, issue 2 came out in February, and the third issue came out in March. It's 5 issues. You might think, oh, did the fourth issue come out in April and May? Well, here is kind of basically the frustrating thing about this series. This series was released in 2020. One of the most frustrating years in recent memory for a lot of people. Because due to pandemic, everything got delayed up the wazoo. Now, here is the strange thing. Issue 3 was released in March. Issue 4 didn't come out until 8 months later in the month of November. Now, the strange thing is, it's actually one of those miniseries where they didn't come back immediately because it was an ongoing series. The miniseries basically did not get this treatment. So, a lot of people believe that maybe this book got canceled, but the book was actually hiatus for 8 months. And then finally, in the month of November, they finally released the next issue. Yes. Why? Now, here's the thing. Marvel resumed publication of their comics in May. Because they took basically a month off because of the whole thing with the lockdown stuff. So they resumed in May, and this book was not part of the lineup of books to return. Yes, as far as I can tell, I'm not really sure exactly why. Oh, and here's the strange thing about this book. There's another interesting fun fact about this. This actually is the third in a series of 4 straight miniseries. I say that because the story for this book actually starts with War of the Realms, Agents of Atlas. Yes. And then it continues in Agents of Atlas comic book, a miniseries, and they have this book, and then this book leads to King in Black Namor. The title itself is a nod to an old 80s crossover known as Atlantis Attack, same thing, except this one does not involve Seth at all, and does not involve them kidnapping nine superheroes to become his wives. This has nothing to do with that. This involves Atlantis actually attacking. Now, also, in this book, Greg Pak does a great job basically developing Amadeus Cho, who is, I believe, supposed to be Brawn. Now, the original lineup of Agents of Atlas. Now, this current lineup, they have Amadeus Cho, Silk Wave, she's one of the Asian superheroes, and Shang-Chi. The original lineup was comprised of, Agents of Atlas themselves were comprised, now they made first appearance in Agents of Atlas number 1. Released in 2006, Greg Pak wrote that book. Here is your lineup, and now you're probably thinking, the first name people have heard of because he popped up in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Johnny Woo, who originally, when he made his debut back in the 50s, he was an agent of the FBI, though they retconned he was actually an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, we also have Namortita, Namor's cousin, who does for this miniseries, who also shared a kiss with him. And they were very interested in their relationship, but they were manipulated by the elders. I am not kidding. We also have Venus. Yes, Venus. Not the actual goddess, surprisingly. No, she did briefly meet her, fought her, and then apparently passed her, sash to her, and then she proceeded to make out with her. I am not kidding about that. Venus kissed Venus. There's also MLM the robot. There's the Uranium Man. The Uranium Man was originally Morrow Boy in the 50s, and he did actually have a comic series. M11 has debuted in his own book. He's also known as the Human Robot. There was also Gorilla Man, one of 2 guys to assume that name. The other was a scientist, part of the Headsmen. Yep. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much your original lineup for you. Now, let me show you what the original lineup looked like here. Look, here's Namortita, sexy as all hell. Oh my gosh, yes, so fucking high. Yep. Okay, let me find it here. Because it did appear early on in this miniseries. Well, they have Agents of Atlas meet Agents of Atlas. Well, actually, here are your other members. You also have Giant Man. This actually is the Hispanic gay guy. Yep. So here you are. Oh yeah, also 3D Man was part of this group too. This is the original Agents of Atlas that Greg Pak assembled. Now, of all these characters, here's the thing. Greg Pak didn't create any of these characters. None. This is Johnny Woo. That's 3D Man. There's actually a second guy whose name. The Smoking Hot Babe right here, that's Namortita. That's Venus. The Uranium Man, aka Marboy. Gorilla Man. and that's the human robots. Plus, I love they included the original. Now, that was the logo, right? That logo they used right there, introduced the Age of Atlas. That was the original logo from the original miniseries. This is the current logo they use for the current version of them. Yeah. And involving attacking Namor. I love the plot of this miniseries. It's just really fun. And at the end of this, basically, Amadeus Cho quits the Age of Atlas. He quits. And then, of course, the story continues in the pages of course, King in Black Namor. It's kind of weird that they included this as part of the King of Black trades. My only guess is so it can sell. That's my personal guess. But here's the thing. I got this book for $2 at Comic-Con. I'm not kidding. I saw this book at Comic-Con and I wanted it. Well, one of the reasons why because it's $2, and not because I love Age of Atlas. Yep. First miniseries review from Age of Atlas. I give that book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Really fun book. Now, if you're curious about the other Age of Atlas books, you have the original 6-issue miniseries. You have the very brief ongoing series that is Age of Atlas Volume 2, which was 11 issues. Excuse me. Then you have also the 5-issue ongoing series known as Atlas, which is also Avengers vs. Age of Atlas, which I believe was like 4 issues. You also have X-Men vs. Age of Atlas. There's also a backup feature for the pages of Incredible Hercules, which they have feature in that was led into X-Men vs. Age of Atlas. Let's see, there is World of Realms Age of Atlas, the 3rd volume Age of Atlas, this book, and then finally you could say it includes in King of Black Namor. But unlike this book, which is done by Greg Pak, King of Black Namor is not done by Greg Pak at all. Oh no, it's done by legendary writer Kurt Busiek. Yes, Kurt Busiek does that book. Yep, but 2 really fun books overall. Yes, but like I said, the only reason why I think that they put the King of Black banner on the trade itself, because Marvel would basically make people assume that this actually came out as part of the actual original crossover. It didn't. As a matter of fact, King of Black has nothing to this book at all. They slapped the title on the trade. If you look at the individual issues when they came out, there's no mention of King of Black. I think it was a countdown to it. And the final issue was released the same month as the first issue of the miniseries. We could say it's a prologue to King of Black Namor. Yes, it is. But in the case of King of Black itself, it has nothing to do with it at all. Okay, so that's the particular review. Next up, another Comic Corner. Yes, my 4th one I'm doing today. And that'll probably be it because I do still have a stack of books. And yes, expect more Comic Corners coming tomorrow. I have a lot of trades to go through, so I expect to see a lot. And expect also possibly tomorrow I might have my 1900 episode tomorrow. That's maybe in that part, okay? Next video. Bye.